how thus a powerful alliance between a sitting president and a billionaire tech mogul collapsed into a political showdown. Once unified by mutual interest and fiscal reform goals, President Donald Trump and Elon Musk have now turned their platforms into battlegrounds, trading blows over subsidies, spending, and the soul of conservative politics. What began as a strategic collaboration has morphed into a high-stakes feud, exposing deep fractures in both leadership and loyalty. Let's take a listen.
Appropriate.
Why did he get upset? He just wasn't getting what he wanted?
Look, the electric vehicle mandate, the EV mandate is a tough thing for him, I would think. I don't want everybody to have an electric car. I campaigned on, you have choice. If you want a gasoline powered, if you want a hybrid, I love the electric. I love his cars. I think he's fantastic, but not everybody should have that. And not everybody wants that. And Biden, who's so stupid, he said everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. Okay? I think he said by 2030, which is in 5 years, people don't want that. And how do you do that when you don't have enough electricity? You go to California where they want everybody to have an electric car, and yet they have brownouts and blackouts every weekend.
President Trump speaking about Elon Musk in a Fox News interview with so much and great admiration. However, there's a sudden twist. What is the result of this fallout? Well, as we delve into the details, this and many more will be explored in today's Flash News. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Tabitha Akro. Let's begin. As the reports unfold, President Donald Trump, in a recent statement, has urged the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, to scrutinize the substantial federal subsidies received by Elon Musk's companies, signaling a deepening rift between the two influential figures. Now, this latest move follows renewed criticism from Musk, who on Monday lambasted President Trump's sweeping tax cut and spending bill, claiming it contradicts promises to curb government expenditure. Now, the bill, which analysts estimate would add approximately $3 trillion to the national debt, has drawn sharp political and public scrutiny. Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has expressed disapproval of the legislation, calling it reckless and accusing lawmakers of betraying fiscal responsibility. Now, this results in a recent social media post. He called for voters to unseat those who supported the bill and also advocated for the formation of a new political party, accusing both major parties of irresponsible governance. Now, right there on your screen, you can actually see what Elon Musk wrote on his social media platform. And now, this was not met easy. President Trump also responded by questioning the value of subsidies granted to Elon Musk's ventures. On his Truth Social post, he implied that withdrawing support from Musk's companies, SpaceX, Starlink, and Tesla could save the country billions. Also, Elon may receive more subsidies than any individual in history. Perhaps DOGE should take a closer look. Now, that was the decision and the request Trump is making to the DOGE team. Now, this escalating feud has not only captured public attention, but also rattled financial markets. Tesla shares fell sharply on June 5th, losing an estimated $150 billion in market value in a single day, now the largest in the company's history. Although stocks have somewhat recovered, investor confidence appears shaky. Musk's companies hold significant federal contracts, with SpaceX alone securing over $22 billion in government deals. And his involvement in cost-saving reforms under DOGE during Trump's term further complicates the standoff. Now, we see that with these ongoing disputes, which we see going rounds in the social media between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk has prompted key questions. Now, could political retaliation endanger the stability of major private sector partnerships with government? Now, when we take a look at what's happening with Trump and Elon Musk, will Musk's swift away from Trump impact Republican fundraising and electoral strategies? And then, how will markets respond if the subsidy review materializes? What categorically could we say it is about the cause of this rift between two prominent government allies? A clash of interest? I mean, this is an issue with President Trump and Elon Musk. Well, while it remains unclear how much influence Musk retains over Congress, Republican insiders fear that the dispute could divide conservative voters and also jeopardize the party's hold on Congress in the 2026 midterms. Meanwhile, the Trump-Musk fallout continues to shape political, economic, and technological narratives in the United States, as they both, the most powerful voices in the government and industry, took hands and locked hands over spending, loyalty, and vision for the nation's future. Well, as the report unfolds, we'll be diving into this report back in Iran. As tensions deepen, where we have geopolitical unrest, which intensifies and is intensifying in recent days in the Middle East, Iran has barred inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency from visiting nuclear sites recently struck by the United States and Israel. Tehran argues that it cannot guarantee the safety of international monitors following the airstrikes, which it claims targeted peaceful nuclear facilities. But then this refusal raises pressing questions. Is Iran genuinely concerned about inspector safety, or is it leveraging the attacks to invade international oversight? Could this move signal a deeper agenda to advance its nuclear capabilities away from global scrutiny? Now, while we think about this question, this decision comes amid heightened criticism from United States President Donald Trump, who in a controversial statement insisted that Iran's supreme leader should consider himself fortunate for not being targeted directly. While Iranian officials denounced the remark as inflammatory, the focus remains on Tehran's vowed intentions regarding its nuclear program. Now, let's take a listen at what President Trump got to say.
Incredible flyers and I call them the shots. These guys are unbelievable. Think from 52,000 feet, they hit the equivalent of a refrigerator door. They actually hit it right in the center, so it's much smaller than that. And just bomb after bomb going deeper, deeper, blowing up. Incredible. And I liked him right from the beginning, but he knocked out ISIS in a time that nobody ever thought possible. And when this attack was completed and so successful, I said, now I know how you knocked out ISIS so quickly. But we have the best people. We have the best equipment in the world. You know, I rebuilt the military during my 4 years, during my other term. We have the best equipment in the world. The problem is we gave away, a lot of it, but small, relatively speaking. We gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan. Shouldn't have happened.
Trump's statement was not met with ease, as Iran has threatened to cut ties with the IAEA entirely, accusing the agency of enabling Israel's justification for the military offense. Now, this claim follows a critical IAEA board vote that declared Iran in breach of its obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Now, what led the agency to such a declaration, and what exact obligations has Iran failed to meet? Now, we see that from June 13th, Israel launched a relentless assault on Iranian assets, claiming the lives of nearly 30 commanders and 11 nuclear scientists and damaging at least 8 nuclear facilities. Human rights monitors estimate that over 1,000 people were killed during the 12-day operation, including more than 400 civilians. Now, Iran's retaliation included missile strikes on Israeli territory, killing 28 people. Now, we see that the United States entered the conflict on June 22nd, launching bunker buster strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, a significant escalation aimed at disabling Tehran's underground nuclear infrastructure. Now, this action by the United States brought up a public spark. But then Iran responded by launching missiles at U.S. military base in Qatar. We see that their attack, which caused no casualties, but then it further underlined the growing volatility in the region. Now, as the dust settles, the world is left wondering, does Iran's refusal to grant access to IEA's inspectors mark a strategic pivotal thought towards unchecked nuclear development? And is the international community equipped to hold Tehran accountable in the face of rising hostility and regional fragmentation? Well, in the coming days, that will justify that. Now, moving over to Thai, we see that Thailand's constitutional court has suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra from duty while it reviews a case seeking her dismissal. Escalating pressure also on a government already battling internal dissent, public arrest, and coalition cracks. Let's take a look.
อยากให้นายกเราต้อง
Well, right there, a pathetic situation. But then we see that the court accepted a petition submitted by 36 senators accusing Paetongtarn of violating constitutional ethics over a leaked phone conversation with Cambodia's former leader, Hun Sen. Now, the controversial call made amid border tensions has drawn a fierce domestic backlash and cost her coalition its majority after a key party withdrew its support. We see the Deputy Prime Minister Surya Kit will serve as caretaker premier during the proceedings. Paetongtarn, who retains her cabinet seat as culture minister following a recent reshuffle, has 15 days to respond to the court. The 38-year-old prime minister, who assumed office less than a year ago, was widely criticized for her remarks during the leaked June 15 call, in which she appeared to defer to Hun Sen and criticized a senior Thai military commander. These actions in a country where the military remains politically powerful have been seen as crossing the line. She later apologized, framing her statement as a negotiation tactic. The suspension comes at a time of political turbulence for the ruling Theo Thai party. Long dominated by the Shinawatra family, once a dominant electoral force, the party now faces declining public support. We say that the recent opinion poll showed Paetongtarn's approval rating plummeting to 9.2%, down sharply from 30.9% in March. Adding to the challenges is the legal turmoil surrounding her father, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who returned from exile in 2023 after 15 years abroad. Thaksin, who is 75 years, is facing two separate legal cases this month, including a charge of insulting the monarchy, a serious offense in Thailand that carries a penalty of up to 10 years. He has also denied the charges and reiterated his loyalty to the crown. Thaksin previously avoided prison time by serving 6 months in hospital detention on medical grounds before being released on parole. However, the Supreme Court is scheduled to review the legitimacy of that hospital stay and may order his return to jail. With protests intensifying and a potential no-confidence vote looming in parliament, Thailand's leadership crisis appears far from over. The government also faces mounting economic woes, with sluggish growth adding to voter discontent. Paetongtarn's short-term tenure has highlighted the fragility of political power in Thailand, where military influence, legal orders, and public opinion often converge to unseat elected leaders. Her case now joins a growing list of Shinawatra-led governments derailed by court rulings and political upheaval. Now moving over to India, in a catastrophic situation. The death toll from the explosion and fire at Sigachi in India Industries chemical plant in Telangana, southern India, has risen to at least 39, according to local authorities. The incident, which occurred on Monday, also left 34 people injured and has prompted the pharmaceutical supplier to suspend operations at the facility for 90 days. Take a look. An emotional scene right there. The government of Telangana has set up a 5-member committee to investigate the cause of the tragedy, which remains unknown. Sigachi Industries has yet to provide details on the explosion, which witnesses described as resembling a bomb blast. Meanwhile, J.V. Narayana Rao, director of the Telangana Fire Disaster Response Service, says the debris are still being cleared. Only after the clearing is complete, more victims might be discovered under the rubble. Now, at the time of the explosion, more than 140 workers were present in the facility, according to police. District Administrative Official P. Praviya reported that 25 of the deceased have yet to be identified. Eyewitnesses Chandan Gond, a 6-month employee at the plant, said he narrowly escaped. Sigachi manufactures microcrystalline cellulose, a compound vital to pharmaceutical, food, and cosmetics industries. Now, the Telangana plant alone accounts for over a quarter of the company's annual production capacity of 21,700 metric tons. We say that in the wake of these disasters, Sigachi's shares dropped by about 8%. Heading for the steepest 2-day decline in its history. The company confirmed that the plant was fully insured and that it had begun filing insurance claims. Meanwhile, a separate fire at a fireworks factory in Sivakasi, Tamil Nadu, on Tuesday claimed 5 lives and injured 4 others, continuing a string of industrial accidents in the region. It is a tragic and a sad moment for the people of India. More safety measures should be put in place to protect lives and property. Well, until next time, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's Flash News. Remember, we'll be bringing you untold stories and Undaunted at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. Until then, do have a pleasant day and stay safe.